The Taliban faction responsible for that deadly Easter bombing in Pakistan is threatening more attacks against Christians and other minorities in the days ahead. At least 73 Pakistanis, including 24 children, were killed during the bombing at a popular park in Lahore. More than 360 people were injured. NBC News is reporting a spokesman for the terrorist group said the men responsible for the murders were trained in Afghanistan. Government leaders around the world condemned the Easter attack, but Christians say much more needs to be done to protect the body of Christ in Pakistan. Joining us now with more from our Washington bureau is Wilson Chowdhury. He is the chairman of the group British Pakistani Christians. Mr. Chowdhury, let me begin by asking, how is the Christian community in Pakistan holding up at that Easter attack?
Well, the services this Sunday were full to rafters. These attacks never stopped my community from going back to churches. In fact, they cling close to God in times of great adversity. However, they are still very terrified and they don't believe that the government is doing enough to protect them.
The Taliban faction responsible says more attacks are coming. What do you think should be done?
Well, we need to have better security at churches. The government has failed on several occasions. Churches are using their own voluntary security forces. These are volunteer youth from within the church who aren't particularly trained for this. So if the government cannot afford it, why not just train these volunteers themselves to become better security operatives? But more to the point, the government has to clamp down and catch these terrorists. After the bombing, 5,000 arrests were made. 200 convictions have started the process. But I'm concerned about why it was so easy to find them after the bomb attack and not before. It seems to me as if Pakistan's got one foot in both camps.
Yeah, clear the government needs to be doing more. How are Christians in Pakistan, the UK and the US responding?
Well, yesterday we had a protest outside the UN. This is Pakistani Christians from America and from Britain collaborating together. We called for the UN to start recognising Christians are persecuted and not simply severely discriminated, a risk profile that has prevented asylum to many Pakistani Christians. We've also called for the Western nations to engage better with Pakistan. Pakistan is the largest recipient of foreign aid from both America and Pakistan, yet absolutely no change has been made to the poor human rights record. We're saying stop that foreign aid until you can see a change that will bring equality to a nation that is suffering great distress.
So you're in Washington yesterday, New York yesterday, you're in Washington today. What do you want President Obama and members of Congress to do?
Well, firstly, engage with the President of Pakistan and ask what is happening about these terrorists. The terrorists seem to be growing in number and their attacks growing in frequency and intensity, despite the billions ploughed in by America to sharpen up the security in Pakistan. More to the point, President Obama really has to look at the way Pakistan protects all its people. For instance, the blasphemy law of Pakistan, a tool for discrimination, protects only the Islamic faith. Promises of reform never come to fruition, and all we're seeing is these laws are being increasingly used to target Christians, who now make up 15% of blasphemy charges, despite being only 1.6% of the population. This simply doesn't make sense and is evidence of clear targeting of minorities in Pakistan. This is a genocide maybe not entirely state-sponsored, but a genocide nevertheless.
Real quickly before I let you go, how and what should we be praying for?
Well, pray for succour for the families that have been affected. Children who are in hospital. There's a 3-year-old child with punctured lungs, its eyes burned out. They're not sure whether it's a girl or boy. No parents have come to collect that child from the hospital. It's now breathing through an oxygen mask. Pray for healing. Pray for restoration. Pray for that child's parents to come forward if they're still alive, or a family member to take care of that child. And really pray for peace in Pakistan and equality. It's something that campaigners have been calling for a long time. And I think this attack in itself is probably going to be the trigger for change that we've all wished for, because there's been so much media attention. Pray that people watching today contact their MPs, contact their senators, and ask for that change to come to fruition.
Wilson Chowdhury, thank you for your work and for joining us today.